Chosen one, stop scrolling immediately. This is not the algorithm. This is an urgent divine interception. Heaven has personally routed this message to your screen because the window for your breakthrough is closing. If you leave now, you will lose the blessing. You will shut the door on the exact miracle your soul has been crying out for. Do not take your eyes off this screen. The heavy attacks you have been facing recently are not random. They are hard proof that the enemy is panicking. Why are they panicking right now? Because a massive timeline shift has just been approved in your name. But the darkness is laying a fatal trap right at the finish line. They call it the setup, and you are walking straight into it without even knowing. They know they cannot stop what the universe has already ordained for you. The wealth and the peace are already yours, so they are trying to manipulate your perception instead. The setup is designed to make you surrender your crown just moments before the coronation. It will arrive looking like an ordinary inconvenience or a familiar face from your past. You must stay alert. You must listen very carefully. The isolation you feel right now is not a punishment. It is a strict quarantine protocol to keep you safe from this exact trap. The forces that drain your energy want you to feel desperate. They want you to feel so lonely that you accept the very first counterfeit connection that knocks on your door. You must resist this illusion. Before we go deeper into the exact nature of this trap, I want to hold something in front of you. Something that was discovered not inside a church or a spiritual community, but inside a secure research laboratory. Something that won the highest scientific recognition available. Most chosen ones have never been told about this hidden truth. This discovery explains something I know you have felt deep in your bones. It explains the gap between the person you know yourself to be and the version of you that seems available only in flashes. You have felt this strange disconnect since childhood. You knew you had a profound intuition and a brilliant mind, but something invisible started suppressing it over time. People told you that you were just getting older. They said life is simply hard for everyone. They lied to you. The exhaustion and the brain fog were never your fault. Your genius was systematically buried by a world that profits from your endless exhaustion. I will show you exactly what the scientists found, but not yet. First, I need you to fully understand the danger. So I need you to hold this specific question in your mind as we continue. What if the gap between your current reality and your divine inheritance is not a character flaw? What if the block actually has a scientific name that no one told you about? We will come back to this truth before the message ends, but right now your immediate survival is the priority. Let us talk about the physical signs of the setup. You have been feeling unusually tired for the last 3 weeks. Your sleep is broken and your mind races at 3 in the morning. That is not normal anxiety. That is your spiritual radar detecting the invisible nets being thrown over your energy field. The darkness is trying to exhaust you into blind compliance. They want you to be too tired to notice the red flags. When you are operating on empty, you make decisions based on survival instead of sovereignty, and that is exactly what the setup requires. It needs you to be vibrating at a low frequency of fear, because if you are afraid, you will not see the massive deception hiding right behind the counterfeit blessing. The setup will present itself as an easy way out of your current struggle. It might look like a quick financial fix or a sudden apology from someone who broke you. Do not fall for it. It is a carefully crafted illusion designed to lock you back into the cycle you just escaped. If you take the bait, you will reset your spiritual progress by years. This is why heaven intercepted your scrolling today. You were about to make a choice that would cost you everything. Your spirit guides are screaming for you to pay attention. You are standing at the most critical intersection of your entire life. One path leads to the generational wealth you were promised, while the other leads straight into the fatal setup. And the only way to choose the right path is to have your internal receiver fully activated. Which brings us back to the laboratory discovery I mentioned earlier. The reason you might fall for the setup is because your receiver has been artificially dimmed. The world deliberately turned down your volume so you could not hear the urgent warnings from the divine. If you stay with me until the final second, you will learn how to bypass the enemy trap completely. You will also receive the exact physical key to turn your receiver back on. The forces that benefit from your mental suppression are terrified of what happens when a chosen one finally wakes up. They want you to swipe away right now. Do not give them the satisfaction. Listen carefully to what your body is trying to tell you. You wake up at exactly 3 in the morning with your heart racing. The sheets feel heavy. Your mind is flooded with endless scenarios that never actually happen. And because the world does not understand this frequency, they try to convince you that it is just normal stress and anxiety. But you are not crazy. This midnight waking is actually the universe downloading a critical update. It happens while the rest of the world is entirely asleep. Your soul is being prepared. It must carry the massive weight of the coming blessing. Tap the like button right now as an act of agreement with what heaven just spoke to your spirit. You must anchor this truth into your physical reality today. Now think about all the doors that slammed shut in your face recently. Opportunities you prayed for suddenly vanished without any logical explanation. People you trusted walked away. You felt completely abandoned by the divine. And in your darkest moments, you cried out and asked why you were being punished after you had sacrificed so much for others. Heaven was never punishing you. Those closed doors were actually the ultimate protection protocol. The universe did not reject you. It simply redirected you. Heaven saw the hidden traps behind those shiny opportunities and violently pulled you out of the way before you could be destroyed. The people who walked away were secretly assigned to drain your precious energy. They wanted to steal your divine inheritance. You are currently in a season of divine isolation. I know the silence feels deafening right now. I know you scroll through social media and wonder why everyone else has it so easy. They seem to succeed without even trying, but you are not like them. You are a chosen one, carrying a rare and powerful frequency that requires intense refinement in the absolute quiet. They always described you as the overly sensitive one. You were the person who always forgave and stayed quiet just to keep the fragile peace. You absorbed their toxic energy. You did it so they could feel better about themselves. And because you have such a pure heart, you genuinely believed that your endless love could eventually heal their deep brokenness. That was a mistake. But a healed chosen one no longer tolerates confusion disguised as love. You finally started setting boundaries. You finally said no. And the moment you stopped being their endless supply of comfort, they immediately turned against you and tried to destroy your reputation. They called you selfish. They tried to make you feel guilty for simply protecting your own spiritual health. They do not hate you for shining. They hate you because your pure light exposes all the dark corners they desperately want to hide. Your mere presence makes them highly uncomfortable. They know they cannot manipulate you anymore. The sudden and painful betrayal you experienced was actually the universe forcefully removing those toxic parasites from your beautiful timeline before the ultimate blessing arrives. This brutal purging process took a massive toll on your physical body. Your shoulders are incredibly tight. Your chest feels heavy with unspoken grief. You cry for no apparent reason in the middle of the afternoon. Stop blaming yourself for these intense emotional waves. Your delicate nervous system is currently rewiring itself so that you can safely hold the new frequency of absolute power and immense wealth. I need you to take one slow and real breath right now. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. You are entirely safe in this divine pocket of isolation. Nothing can harm you while you are in the waiting room of heaven. The silence you are experiencing is the exact sound of your spiritual enemies being permanently blocked from accessing your precious energy field ever again. You probably thought the delay meant you failed the spiritual test. You watched others get promoted. You watched them find love while you were left alone. But the universe is not ignoring you. The universe is intentionally hiding you. Heaven is keeping you completely out of sight because you are carrying a sacred weapon of light that is meant to break your family curse. They pushed you into the deepest isolation, hoping you would break. They thought you would come crawling back to them for validation, but you did not break. You evolved. You learned how to survive the raging storm entirely on your own. And this independent strength is exactly what makes you so incredibly dangerous to the forces of darkness that try to control this world. But there is a deeper layer to this phenomenon that you must understand. The pain you felt was not just emotional trauma. There is a specific physical mechanism that was triggered when you were betrayed. And this mechanism is exactly what the setup is trying to exploit right now. We need to talk about what actually happened to your brain when the world turned its back on you. Let me tell you the real reason this happened. The setup is not a random run of bad luck. It is a highly calculated spiritual ambush. The darkness knows you are about to step into absolute power, so they manufacture a sudden crisis. They send an old toxic friend with a fake apology, or they create an unexpected financial emergency out of nowhere to break your spirit. They want to hit you when you are already exhausted. The entire goal of the setup is to force a panicked reaction out of you. When you react from fear, you instantly drop your divine energetic shield. You step out of your quiet authority, and you step directly back into the chaotic matrix of survival, which is exactly why your intuition feels jammed right now. You sit in silence to seek clear guidance, but your mind is just full of endless lists and ancient regrets. The enemy uses this static noise to convince you that the universe has left you behind. But here is the truth they tried to hide from you. Your blocked intuition is not a spiritual failure, because there is a very real physical mechanism behind this block. Your physical brain is quite literally the receiver for divine signals. And right now, your receiver is trapped on the wrong frequency. It is stuck in a constant hum of beta waves, which is the frequency of pure panic and survival. When you are stuck in beta, your body thinks a predator is chasing you all day. You cannot receive a miracle while running for your life. This is how they keep the chosen ones completely powerless. They bombard your nervous system with fear until your receiver breaks. Here is what the system never wanted you to know. The reason the universe responds effortlessly to certain people is not about perfect faith. It is not about harsh discipline. It is actually a specific brainwave, and scientists have a formal name for it. They call it the gamma wave. And it is the exact frequency your brain was naturally running when you were just a brilliant child. Think back to those early years of your life. Ideas came to you so easily. Learning felt like an effortless and joyful game. You somehow knew things before they even happened, and the world felt like it was completely on your side. You were living in a constant state of miraculous flow. You had a profound connection to the unseen world. That was your gamma frequency operating at its absolute highest peak. But then, adulthood finally arrived. The modern world went to work on your brilliant and trusting mind. The chronic stress of paying bills weighed you down, while the glowing screens hypnotized you into endless comparison. The brutal school system played a massive role too. They trained you to conform instead of create. They punished your wild imagination. Every single year, this sacred frequency was suppressed a little further. It was violently pushed deeper and deeper below the surface of your conscious awareness. And eventually, the version of you with a photographic memory was locked away in a dark room. When your gamma frequency fades, your natural genius fades right along with it. Your sharp intuition dulls into massive confusion. The daily synchronicities completely stop. The beautiful sense that the universe is working with you goes entirely silent. They threw away the key. And this is exactly how the setup becomes so incredibly dangerous to your current spiritual journey. Without your gamma wave active, you cannot see through the thick illusions of the enemy. You mistake their toxic traps for genuine opportunities. You mistake their manipulation for real love. Most people will live their entire lives without ever knowing this suppression happened to them. They will accept the daily struggle, and they will die thinking they were just born very unlucky. But you are not most people. You are a cycle breaker. The question I asked you to hold a few minutes ago, the one about the mysterious gap and the scientific name, the answer to that question is closer than you could possibly imagine. I promise you that the physical solution already exists, but before I tell you exactly what it is, we need to expose the architects of your pain. We must identify the faces of the people who used this suppression against you, because they knew exactly what they were doing when they drained your light. They saw your dormant power, and they fed on it like desperate parasites. The setup is active right now, and your enemies are waiting to see if you will fall for the illusion one last time. Do not let them win this war. Let us talk about the people who left you broken. The narcissists smiled directly in your face while they were quietly dismantling your self-worth behind your back. They saw the blinding purity of your light, but they did not want to protect it. They wanted to consume it entirely, because they are completely empty inside. They used your beautiful empathy as a heavy weapon against you. They mirrored your beautiful traits just long enough to trap you in their twisted web. They pretended to share your deep spiritual values, but it was all a carefully calculated illusion. And the moment they secured your blind loyalty, their friendly mask violently slipped off. They started using your deepest secrets against you. They projected their own disgusting insecurities onto your pure heart. Every time you forgave their terrible behavior, they took it as permission to push you a little further into the dirt. You were an empath with boundaries that were simply too fragile for their aggressive manipulation. They manufactured endless drama just to keep you off balance. And while you were desperately trying to heal their deep wounds, they were actively draining your sacred life force. Then, they suddenly walked away, or the universe violently ripped them out of your timeline. You cried and wondered why everyone you loved eventually abandoned you. Here is the ultimate truth about that painful separation. The universe did not abandon you. Heaven orchestrated a massive spiritual purge, because those people were sent by the darkness to keep your gamma frequency permanently suppressed. Their departure was not a loss at all. It was an absolute rescue mission. They thought their silence would punish you and force you to beg for their tiny crumbs of affection. They expected you to chase them in desperation, but they severely underestimated the sleeping giant inside of you. When you stopped chasing them, all of the stolen power instantly returned to its rightful owner. You are now sitting in the beautiful clarity of an empty room. The silence after the storm hits completely different when you realize you were the storm all along. This empty space is not a prison. It is a highly guarded sanctuary where your energy is finally safe from psychic vampires. Type 111 down in the comments to claim this divine isolation. Lock in this new reality right now. You are no longer the bleeding empath who needs to save everyone else just to feel worthy of love. You have officially graduated from the brutal school of betrayal. The crucible of their abuse has forged you into the untouchable master of your reality, and your absolute silence is now a weapon that terrifies the people who used to control you. They thought your kindness was a permanent weakness they could exploit forever. They mistook your gentle patience for blind stupidity. But they forgot that even the most peaceful ocean can turn into a devastating tsunami when the wind shifts. You became the exact weapon you were desperately trying to survive. Your energy now demands total respect without a single word being spoken. Funny how the same people who ignored your texts are suddenly feeling incredibly uncomfortable around you. They can sense that they no longer have access to your timeline. You have become a locked door to them, and it drives them absolutely crazy because they know they lost the best thing that ever happened to them. They are watching everything they built slowly crumble into ash. You do not even have to lift a single finger for karma to collect its heavy debt. The universe is preparing a massive table for you right in the presence of your enemies. They will be forced to watch your miraculous rise from the exact same seats where they once mocked your painful struggles. That is the divine justice that has already been written into the stars for you. You are the cycle breaker of your entire bloodline. The toxic patterns that destroyed your ancestors will officially stop with you. Heaven chose you specifically for this brutal assignment because you were the only one strong enough to carry the heavy curse and burn it to the ground. Every tear you shed in secret was just spiritual fuel for this massive generational fire. But you cannot celebrate just yet, because the darkness knows their time is almost up and they are preparing one final assault. When a narcissist realizes they have lost control, they do not just walk away peacefully, they try to trigger the setup we talked about earlier. They will send a spy or drop a breadcrumb just to see if your energetic gates are still open to their poison. If your brain is still stuck in that fearful beta frequency, you might actually open the door when they knock. You might mistake their toxic breadcrumb for genuine closure. The purge of these enemies was just the very first step of your total liberation. Now you must armor your mind so you never fall back into their trap. I need you to pay close attention to the next critical sign. The universe is sending you incredibly clear signs right now. You are seeing angel numbers everywhere you look. And as you walk through your daily routine, sequences like 111 and 777 are constantly following your path to confirm your alignment. You feel a strange tingling sensation at the top of your head. This is your crown chakra opening wide to receive the new frequency. The air around you literally feels lighter today. Your dreams have become vividly prophetic and impossible to ignore. You wake up with a deep sense of knowing. Something massive is about to drop into your reality very soon. And even though you cannot see the physical proof yet, your spirit recognizes that the divine alignment is making its final preparations before the blessing is released. Heaven is signaling that your waiting is over. But before you get entirely comfortable, I must warn you. There is a specific reason the universe is showing you these signs before the actual manifestation arrives in the physical realm. The miracle is already sitting at your front door. It is waiting for you to turn the handle, but your hand is completely paralyzed by the invisible block we discussed earlier. The beta matrix still holds you. You can sense the blessing, but you cannot physically grasp it yet. Your pure spirit knows the absolute truth, while your physical brain remains completely locked out of the new timeline. This is exactly where the setup becomes incredibly dangerous. The enemy sees the blessing waiting for you, and they are desperately trying to keep your brain hijacked so you miss the delivery entirely. You need a physical key. Before we go any further, I have to tell you something massive. It is a profound secret that the elite forces who profit from your endless exhaustion do not want you to ever discover. A dedicated team of neuroscientists has discovered exactly how to bring this dormant brainwave back. They worked quietly away from the noisy headlines to find a real solution, and their scientific discovery is absolutely groundbreaking. They found a way to reactivate your gamma frequency without years of intense meditation. You do not need to spend thousands of dollars on clinical biofeedback machines in a sterile laboratory. The solution is actually far simpler, and it is beautifully aligned with how your body was originally designed to function. It involves a specific sound frequency engineered to guide your brainwave patterns directly back to pure genius. The rigorous research behind this is completely undeniable. Princeton University studied this exact phenomenon in deep detail. The Einstein Center in Berlin officially confirmed the miraculous results. And scientists at Columbia University even found that when this specific brainwave is reactivated, the pure energy radiates outward into the world. It begins to positively influence your children and every single person around you. It takes only 7 minutes a day to create this massive shift, and the profound physical changes begin working the very first time you put on your headphones, close your eyes, and listen. You do not have to chant or force your mind to be perfectly still. You simply let the frequency do what your brain was always designed to naturally receive. This is the exact missing link you have been praying for. I will tell you exactly what this powerful tool is called before this message ends. I will show you exactly how to access it so you can turn your receiver back on today. The exact name of this scientific breakthrough is coming very soon. But before I reveal the final piece of the puzzle, there is something absolutely critical you need to understand. You must know why your massive breakthrough was delayed. You might be wondering why the universe took so incredibly long to bring you this answer. You have been suffering for years in complete and heavy silence. Why did heaven wait until the 11th hour to reveal the physical key? The answer will completely shift your perspective today. The universe had to test your spirit because heaven needed to make sure you were strong enough to hold the incredible power of an active gamma wave. If you had received this profound activation while you were still surrounded by toxic narcissists, the enemy would have destroyed you. You would have used this massive energetic power to heal the exact people who secretly hated you. You would have poured your precious divine inheritance into broken vessels that could never hold your blinding light. Heaven had to completely clear the room before handing you the keys. The brutal isolation was required to ensure the parasites were entirely gone. Now that you are sitting alone in your quiet authority, it is finally safe. The power can now flow directly into your own life, instead of being siphoned off by the aggressive enemies of your past. You have successfully passed the hardest test of solitude. You proved that you can survive the deepest darkness completely alone without breaking. And this brings us to the ultimate revelation. The signs you are seeing right now are not just empty promises of a distant future blessing. They are urgent notifications confirming that the grand window of divine opportunity is fully open right now. The timeline shift is happening in real time, but the enemy has one final trick up their dirty sleeve. They have prepared a fatal trap right before the finish line. This trap is so incredibly subtle that 99% of chosen ones fall for it. It is a carefully crafted illusion designed to test your new boundaries and your spiritual discernment. If you take the bait today, the enemy will steal your massive inheritance at the last possible second. Stay with me right now, because this next part is the most crucial warning you will ever hear. You have reached the very edge of your new reality today. The heavy darkness knows it has completely lost control over your beautiful and protected timeline. They can see the massive blessing hovering right above your head. But because they cannot touch the blessing itself, they have one final desperate trick to play before the dawn arrives. They want to steal your crown at the last possible second. They cannot actually touch the divine inheritance God prepared for you. The sacred vault is locked, and only you have the authorization to open it. So their only option is to trick you into dropping the key. They must manufacture a sudden and chaotic illusion to distract your focused mind while you walk toward the finish line, and this is exactly where the fatal trap is finally sprung. The fatal trap I warned you about earlier is now fully active. It is the sudden appearance of a toxic counterfeit from your painful past. Someone who broke your heart will suddenly reach out to you, right when your real blessing is standing at the door. They will send a casual text or offer a fake apology. Do not be fooled by this desperate attempt to ruin your peace. They will arrive looking incredibly innocent and completely harmless. They will loudly claim they have finally changed their toxic ways and they truly want to make amends with you. But they are secretly carrying the exact same demonic frequency that destroyed you years ago. The darkness simply put a new friendly mask on an old enemy, to see if your spiritual vision is truly clear today. This is the ultimate setup designed to hijack your delicate nervous system. If you reply to their message, you instantly reopen a closed, energetic portal. You invite their chaotic vibration directly back into your deeply protected sanctuary. And the moment you choose to engage with their manufactured drama, your physical brain instantly drops back into pure survival mode. You fall right back into the fearful beta frequency we discussed earlier. The intense panic returns, and your brilliant intuition goes completely blind again. This is exactly what the enemy desperately wants to achieve today. They want to deliberately lower your spiritual vibration so you cannot properly match the high frequency of your incoming miracle. If your vibration drops to their level, the massive blessing will simply pass you by. It will bounce right off your corrupted energy field. You will be left completely empty-handed and broken, while the narcissistic parasite quietly feeds on your fresh pain. You must realize that this sudden return is not a coincidence or a romantic twist of fate. It is a brutal test. The universe is watching your response in this exact critical moment. Heaven is asking you a very specific and final question before releasing the massive generational wealth into your hands. Are you truly ready to leave the familiar pain behind forever? Or will you foolishly trade your permanent kingdom connection for a cheap imitation just because you feel a little lonely tonight? A healed person no longer tolerates confusion disguised as sudden love. You are no longer the weak empath who desperately begged for their basic human decency. You must hold your ground and fiercely maintain your quiet authority while the storm rages outside your peaceful window. Your absolute silence is the only acceptable answer to their toxic manipulation. Let their pathetic message sit on read forever. When you ignore their pathetic attempt to return, you officially break the curse. You prove to the universe that your spiritual boundaries are made of solid iron. And the moment you boldly choose your own peace over their chaotic drama, the final seal of your suffering is permanently broken. The heavy gates of heaven swing wide open to pour out your generational wealth. This is exactly why you need the physical mechanism to stay permanently protected. You cannot rely purely on your own mental willpower to block these highly aggressive psychic attacks forever. You need your internal receiver to be permanently locked onto the high gamma frequency. Because when you are operating in the gamma state, these toxic counterfeits become completely invisible to your daily perception. You will no longer have to fight the heavy darkness with your bare hands. The activated gamma wave creates an impenetrable energetic shield around your entire aura. It automatically repels the toxic narcissists before they can even speak your beautiful name or send a single text. The brutal and exhausting struggle officially ends when you finally take action to restore the divine frequency you were always meant to carry. The fatal trap is now fully exposed and completely dismantled before your eyes. You know exactly what the enemy is trying to do to you today. You know they are terrified of the massive timeline shift that is happening around you right now. But simply knowing the dangerous trap exists is not nearly enough to secure your permanent victory over the darkness. You must activate the solution. We have finally reached the most important crossroad of your entire spiritual journey. The elite forces of darkness are watching closely to see if you will boldly claim your divine birthright today. I promise to reveal the scientific tool that will instantly restore your forgotten genius. The time for waiting and quietly suffering in the cold shadows is officially over. Prepare your spirit to receive it. The dry desert you walked through has suddenly burst into an oasis of divine favor. Every single closed door is being blown completely off its hinges today. Can you feel that massive shift in your spirit right now? That is the glorious frequency of absolute victory. You are stepping directly into the exact timeline you were born to rule. The brutal waiting season is officially over. You are no longer the exhausted empath, begging for clarity. The heavy crucible of your pain has successfully forged you into the untouchable master of your reality. Your silence alone now terrifies the darkness. Your mere presence shifts the entire atmosphere of any room you enter. You have taken your crown back from the people who tried to bury you. Heaven is loudly applauding your survival. The critical question I asked you to hold at the beginning of this message: what if the massive gap is not a character flaw, but a suppressed frequency? Here is the final answer. A specific brainwave called the gamma wave was running in you as a child at absolute genius level capacity. Princeton University has studied it deeply. The Einstein Center in Berlin confirmed its miraculous power. Columbia University found that when this brainwave is restored, it radiates outward and positively influences the people you love. A dedicated team of neuroscientists spent years studying this. They were led by Dr. Robert Lake in New York City. They successfully compressed the full clinical protocol for gamma reactivation into exactly 7 minutes. But before I tell you what they built, listen to this. A woman from California named Rachel had tried absolutely everything. She tried meditation, manifesting, and endless prayer. Nothing broke the heavy fog around her mind. After 2 weeks of listening to this frequency, she said something suddenly cleared. The blocked channel simply opened for her. Her struggling marriage completely shifted. She described her new life as deeply enchanted. A man from Texas named Michael started using it to improve his failing business focus. 2 months later, his wife joked that his intelligence had jumped 20 points. The hardest problems he used to lose sleep over started magically solving themselves while he slept. He said it felt like his brain was finally firing on all cylinders. That is because of what the brilliant researchers finally discovered. They call it the Genius Song. It is not a generic meditation app. It is a 7-minute audio track using advanced brain entrainment technology. It is compressed from 1 full hour of clinical protocol into something you do safely at home. You just put your headphones on and close your eyes. That is the absolute entirety of what it requires. You simply let the powerful frequency do the heavy lifting. The Genius Song is not for everyone. It is uniquely built for the chosen one who has already done the heavy inner work. It is for the rare soul who understands that what is blocked is the frequency itself. Biofeedback sessions to restore this state cost hundreds of dollars per hour. An in-home machine runs thousands. What this tool delivers is available today for a fraction of its true value. 4 incredibly powerful bonuses come with it to protect your journey. You receive a special audio track designed specifically to activate focus in your beautiful children. You get the original prosperity text that the famous secret was secretly built upon. You also receive a guided visualization and a daily habits guide. These are built to sustain the gamma state beyond each listening session. Here is the deeper spiritual truth about waiting. The provision God arranged for you does not arrive as entirely new information. It arrives as a clear recognition. A gamma-suppressed brain completely misses the recognition. What has been placed in your path for this season is already sitting right there. The chosen one who restores the receiver today finally sees what was always there. Do not look for this sacred tool on streaming platforms. The dark forces have actively flooded the market with diluted counterfeits. Those fake tracks have absolutely no brain entrainment technology encoded. The only authentic version is fully protected. The universe requires no risk from you. This is an energetic exchange governed by complete trust. Every single penny is returned if you feel no shift. The secure link is waiting for you in the description and in the pinned comment below. But remember this ultimate truth: the tool is never the final destination. The tool simply restores your divine receiver so the miraculous destination can be recognized when it arrives. What was just described is simply one way the receiver is restored. Whether that path is for you or not, the message continues. Take a deep breath and let the profound silence fill the room. The violent storm that tried to destroy you has completely run out of rain, and you are finally standing on the beautiful shore of your entirely new reality. The heavy spiritual armor you wore for so many years can finally be taken off. You are entirely safe now. Heaven has permanently secured your immediate borders. You are no longer the exhausted empath begging to be understood. The brutal crucible of your pain has successfully forged you into the untouchable master of your reality. Your pure energy now demands absolute respect, without a single word being spoken. The people who used to drain your precious light can no longer even perceive your high frequency, because you have ascended to a realm they cannot reach. You are completely invisible to them. This new era of your life is defined by quiet authority. You do not have to fight the darkness with loud arguments or desperate explanations anymore. Your absolute silence has become the ultimate weapon that terrifies the enemy. When you refuse to engage with their manufactured chaos, you instantly starve them of the spiritual oxygen they desperately need to survive. They simply wither away in the dark. Tonight you officially become the massive break in your bloodline. The toxic cycles of poverty and betrayal that plagued your ancestors are burning to the ground right now. Future generations of your family will look back and thank you for the heavy battles you fought in complete secret. You stood entirely alone in the terrifying darkness so they could walk freely in the brilliant light. Your legacy is officially secured. The divine wealth that was promised to you is already flowing into this new timeline. You will no longer have to chase opportunities or beg for basic human decency. The miracles will simply chase you down and effortlessly overtake you while you rest. The universe is aligning massive blessings that will completely wipe out the painful memory of your past suffering. You have passed the final test, but you must make a sacred vow right now to never look back. The bridges you crossed were deliberately burned by your spirit guides for your own absolute protection. Do not try to rebuild connections with the people who were assigned to keep you chained to the floor. The new rooms heaven prepared for you require a completely different version of you, and you cannot bring your old attachments into this sacred space. Walk forward with absolute pride. The intense physical exhaustion you felt is already beginning to lift. Your tense shoulders are finally dropping away from your ears. The tight and heavy sensation in your chest is being replaced by a warm and golden light of pure divine healing. Your nervous system is officially returning to its natural state of profound peace. You are being completely recalibrated for immense joy. Do you feel that massive energetic shift happening in your room right now? That is the glorious frequency of Archangel Michael standing directly beside you. He has dispatched a massive legion of warrior angels to guard the four corners of your beautiful life. Nothing toxic is allowed to cross this divine boundary ever again, because heaven has permanently sealed the doors to your enemies. The waiting season is officially over. You must fiercely protect this new and delicate vibration. The world will try to pull you back into the noisy matrix of survival and endless comparison, but you now hold the ultimate truth deep inside your beautiful spirit. You know exactly who you are, and you know exactly what you carry into the future. You are a rare soul, chosen by the universe to anchor the highest frequency of unconditional love. For the chosen one, whose spirit confirmed what was described earlier, the powerful tool remains available in the description and the pinned comment below. That is the final time it will be mentioned today. What follows now belongs entirely to your spiritual closing. We must establish a permanent shield around this massive breakthrough before you step back into the physical world. Prepare your heart for the seal. The pitch-black darkness has officially retreated far behind you. The dawn of the new era is shining its brightest rays onto your spiritual crown. But the enemy is incredibly stubborn. The moment this video ends, they will try to send a tiny whisper of doubt into your mind. To lock in this glorious frequency and create an absolute shield of protection, you must take physical action immediately. Share this anointed message with someone who desperately needs it to multiply your own massive blessing. Sowing this specific seed of hope today guarantees your own beautiful harvest tomorrow. Subscribe to the channel right now to establish a permanent divine energy receiving station, and type the word Amen down in the comments to completely seal this beautiful reality. Do not let this moment pass. You are profoundly loved by the entire universe. You are fiercely protected by the highest angelic realms. Walk into your new timeline with your head held incredibly high. The beautiful miracle you have been waiting for is already yours, and nobody can ever take it away from you again. I will see you in the next transmission.